Bill C-10 is this great bill that they've just passed that the government's decided that offensive material should not be funded by the government. So conservative leaders, supported by me and my church, as well as many other church-going Canadians across Canada, and just regular citizens, have decided that tax credits should not be given out to offensive material. People having orgies and engaging in material that we don't think the public actually wants to hear. So yeah, C-10 is great. It's about time, really.
I don't agree with you at all, and I don't know why you have to stand here and pretend that you're preaching, etc. But essentially, C-10 is, I think it infringes on the freedoms of expression of artists and people in the media. I really have a problem with one small group of people deciding what everyone in the country, as diverse as Canada is, wants to watch as a movie.
Je pense que c'est bien. Si le film n'est pas bon, ben, ça sert à rien de financer. Si c'est bon et intéressant, c'est correct.
Ils parlent que les films ils ont une mauvaise influence sur les jeunes, fait que si les films pas bons ils sont pas mis à l'affiche ou ils ont moins d'argent, mais ils vont moins en produire. Fait que...
Des comédies c'est bon, des films de filles.
And so a democratically elected government has the responsibility of making sure that its publicly funded material reflects the needs of the public, and that's what it's about.
Okay, I can understand that you want to represent the public, but I think that people should be allowed to choose what they want to see, as opposed to that being decided for them. I mean, we're all adults.
But if there's a lot of violence and sex, then I will agree. Otherwise, it is okay.
So you think...
I don't believe in violence, too much violence. And no matter what film you see, there's a violence everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's creating a bad effect on the children. It's not a good thing. My conscience doesn't allow for violence.
Well, I don't think it's about what people want, but I think it's about understanding other people's points of view. And there may be some people that have a different point of view that I may want to watch, not necessarily participate in, but it may be something that might be interesting on film. And I think that I should have the right to choose to watch something like that.
Well, that's what YouTube is for, really. Like, you know, you can put your stuff up there for free. Like, there's lots of free places to put stuff out on. Or go get some backing. Go get some backing. If you think that a lot of people are interested in what you're saying, go find an organization that'll fund you.
That doesn't make any sense at all for them to say that they're ensuring that their money is used efficiently. In fact, the opposite will happen. They'll hire more people to enforce all of these regulations, you know, and there'll be half the money that would have gone to making films will now be going to these civil servants to monitor the work of these people. It's horrible.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So will I. And
okay, now he has a head of steam. Thank you.
You know, you may have the idea that, you know what, if it's such a good film, they'll make it with or without the credits. But the fact of the matter is, most Canadian productions are made through tax credits. I mean, that's the only way, essentially, that we're able to make Canadian film and movies. So we need that, and without that, unfortunately, there will be a lot less Canadian content that we'll be able to create.
To me personally, I'm not very aware of very many Canadian films in general, so I don't know how largely that will affect, you know, media as a whole. Most Canadian people, they adopt and use mostly American media to begin with. You know, if you look on your cable television, the majority of the grid is Canadian, American substance. So therefore, for me, and also being American, I don't think it's going to affect, you know, Canadians as a whole.
I think that we should have the freedom to decide what we want to watch, and it does take money and it does take tax credits to produce something well in this country, and I think that that funding shouldn't be allotted according to a small select group of people.
But again, it's a democratically elected group of people, okay? That's what we have here. We have a democracy in Canada. People should be allowed to have their democracy, have agency and power, which is what you're denying.
It's one thing to allow it. It's another thing to support it or fund it or subsidize it. So as a society, we do have, you know, general values that we would want our government to promote or support. But, you know, it is a fine line, but some form of regulation I don't believe is a bad thing.
The offensive content, it's not for everyone, obviously, but if we put a restriction on who wants to see the movies, attend to those events, I think they should still fund it. I don't see the problem with that, why they shouldn't.
So is it that bad? Yes, it will upset certain people, but at the same time, it's getting people talking about it. It's making you ask questions about it. So it definitely has a point, and it is part of the social world that's out there. Yeah. If that's not the way it's going to go back underground, and should those discussions be happening underground anyways? If they're happening underground, it's not representing society.
Where we're looking to have a more publicly orientated community broadcast and film industry, so that reflects the population more. It's more true to what they want.
Well, I just doubt that the Minister of Heritage, the decisions that the Minister of Heritage makes in order to decide which films are funded, reflects. I have a question of whether it reflects the society's opinions, and that's my point of view, really. Did you hear about this bill being passed?
Oh yeah, Bill C-10, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what it's about?
Yeah, I think it's a really good bill. I'm really happy about it. My church supports it.
What?